Will hazard pay debut in a Republican second stimulus package or not? Hey everybody, this is LA Lake with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today. This one about hazard pay, that $10,000 from the federal government that's proposed in a Democratic plan to pay you if you're an essential worker who worked during the pandemic or are still working. It's proposed in the HEROES Act, or the HEROES Fund, from the Democrats, but how about the Republicans? Well, the shocking news today is that once again, the Republicans have not come through with their promise to debut their second stimulus package. So again, we simply don't know the answer. It has been a nail biter, to say the least. Over the weekend, Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow appeared on broadcast news at CNN and Fox. They talked about what would likely be in the Republican second stimulus package. And everything we were excited to hear for was mentioned, with the exception of hazard pay. It's becoming to be a little bit disconcerting, and the group that I'm most pissed off about are the news reporters, because they're not asking, hey, Steve, how about hazard pay? Hey, Larry, how about hazard pay? They don't ask the question like they don't know it's happening. So what's going on and what is really at issue? Hazard pay is $10,000. It's up to $10,000 if you made less than $100,000 last year and you're working as an essential worker. It's a lot of money that you are owed, and it's not that much more than what you're getting paid. It's calculated on $13 an hour times the number of hours you've worked from January up to the present, or continuing thereafter if you're not at the $10,000 threshold. It includes hourly, overtime, part-time. It can be for multiple essential jobs at the same time. It's a simple calculation. It's a simple bill. The only reduction on it is down to $5,000 if you made over $100,000 last year, so you would only get $5,000. And if you're at neither threshold yet, you would get a lump sum for how much you've made so far, and then going forward, you get the $13 an hour till you're at that threshold. It's a great bill. It's proposed by the Democrats. It's in the HEROES Fund of the HEROES Act, which is currently in the Senate. And then yet, we simply have no answer from the Republicans what they're doing with hazard pay. What makes this very confusing is the following. Over a week ago, Steve Mnuchin and Larry and Mitch McConnell said that the second stimulus package would debut last Monday to press in what we called Mitch-on-say. Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, we were promised by Steve Mnuchin it was coming Thursday afternoon. If you literally Google second stimulus package Republicans, all the news reports from Thursday morning say, coming Thursday afternoon, coming Thursday afternoon. It didn't come Thursday afternoon. What are they, writing with calligraphy? Where is it? Friday, Steve Mnuchin came out and said, okay, I admitted I'm having a problem with that guy from Kentucky, but we're going to get through it. So Saturday, he started to do meetings. Now, are these, I was about to say spin. Are they spin or are they meetings? But he appeared on the congressional steps from the Hill. He had press appearances there. And he said, I'm going in then to speak with Republicans to get a second stimulus package done and finalized. I'll be right back. He goes in there, spends a few hours, comes back out. He says, done. Republicans are done and ready. The exact words are ready, and we're going to debut the second stimulus package to you on Monday. Well, they didn't. So what's going on? By Monday morning, they said, okay, it's coming Monday afternoon. It's currently 5 p.m. on the East Coast, and no second stimulus package for hazard pay or anything else about a second stimulus package has been debuted from the Republicans. So we really don't know where this is going. One of the big issues has been the employers, and the employers are now suggesting that they don't like hazard pay. So are the employers getting in the ears of the Republican Party? New data released today indicates that a lot of major employers are not even referring to it as hazard pay, but bonus pay. What's going on? As you know, hazard pay was an instrument created during World War II that provided additional benefits to people who worked in hazardous situations. That's why it was called hazard pay. The environment was risky and hence warranted a supplemental hourly rate for their services. A lot of employers now have actually taken a legal standpoint not to even call it hazardous or hazard pay, but to call it simply a bonus. And they are claiming that the bonus is tied to the amount of activity in the store or the operation, not based upon how hazardous the job is, which is fundamentally a very big disservice. An example is the grocery unions. So are these grocery stores and these certain very clear hazardous environment employers getting to the Republicans saying, don't put hazard pay in a second stimulus package? It's possible. The grocery union, for example, is really irate. They say, hey, Kroger, Albertsons, Vons, all these big chains, you are employing people in a hazardous environment, and they need to be compensated additional sums of money for their hazard work, hazard pay. Kroger, Albertsons are saying we aren't paying any more supplemental money. We gave them a bonus before, and we're not giving them a bonus again. Inherently not using the word hazard pay, not referring to risk, and their quotes are even more discouraging. The quotes from a lot of employers when discussing hazard pay now are saying that, well, work is back to normal. The number of people in the store has decreased and is back to pre-pandemic levels, so we don't see that surge of people anymore. That's not the concept of hazard pay. The hazard is still there. The ability to contract COVID-19 is very real. The number of COVID-19 cases in Florida, Arizona, Texas, and California out of control, really out of control, with 64,000 new COVID-19 cases just yesterday. And so the risk is actually worse now than it was before, and yet employers are saying it's no longer a hazardous environment. You don't need any more benefits. So what will happen? Ultimately, we're sitting here and wondering whether the Republicans are going to put a hazard pay bill in there. And I see a lot of comments that people are dropping in the comments below. It says the Republicans aren't even giving you $2,000 as a second stimulus check. They're not going to give you $10,000. My response to that is it's not the same bottle of wax. It's not the same slush of funds. What am I talking about? Well, the second stimulus package has a lot of money in there. And there's something for checks. There's something for schools. There's something for a federal building. Yeah, the FBI wants a new building. So everyone's piling in stuff that they want for themselves. And when you hear hazard pay, it's simply just a part of a separate pot. It's not the part of the pot for the second stimulus check. So, if you are worried that the White House has retracted from saying they're going to give you a more generous check, more than $1,200 on a second stimulus check, and they're not giving you $2,000 anymore, don't think that the White House won't give you $10,000 for hazard pay. Maybe they're dragging out the garbage can and, tossing out things as metaphorically or literally by the minute. Ultimately, the big concern is we just don't have clarity. My concern for you is to stay positive and stay motivated. But when I don't hear employers embracing the concept of hazard pay, I'm even more troubled. Because if the big businesses don't think it's hazardous, will they apply for hazard pay? Here is the catch. And this is where you got to really stay focused. Mitt Romney saw this problem coming. So as a Republican from the West Coast, from out west, he said, I'm proposing a hazard pay bill, separate and apart from the Democrats. I like the bill in many regards a lot better, with the exception of one factor: it's less money. But he proposes to give you about $5,000 hazard pay, not $10,000. But he requires the employer to get it for you. So on the part of the Democratic bill that I would take the garbage can and really throw it in there is the Democrats say that the employer may apply for hazard pay but doesn't have to. And if they don't apply for hazard pay, you have no recourse about it. Mitt Romney says, no, I'm throwing that in the garbage can and dragging it out to the street, metaphorically and physically, as you hear on set. He says, no, I want and will require the employers to apply for hazard pay for you. It will be a requirement. If they do not fulfill the requirement, they will be into trouble. And as a true financial guy himself, Mitt said, I'm going to pay the employers to do it for you. I'm going to pay the employers to do the bookkeeping and get the hazard pay check for you. Brilliant. So what is Steve Mnuchin saying about Mitt Romney? Nothing. What is Mitt Romney saying about Steve Mnuchin? I don't know. I keep on tweeting both of them just trying to get them to respond. And it's like, Mitt has this really great hazard pay bill out there, folks. Are we? What's going on here? Ultimately, as you know, when a second stimulus package comes from the Republicans, it gets merged with the Democrats. They get negotiated together and gets all one ball of wax. But what happens to Mitt? Mitt has a bill out there. It may not become part of the package. It may not become part of the negotiations. And that's what I'm worried for you as well. Ultimately, maybe when this recording is uploaded later today, the garbage will be taken out and the Republican bill will be brought in, literally and figuratively. I don't know. Hopefully it is. Hopefully this recording will be out of date by then. Or we'll wait till Tuesday and repeat it again and say, Steve says it's coming Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday lunch, Tuesday evening. Just ridiculous. Really, really ridiculous, Steve. If you have questions to today's recording, as always, drop them in the comments below. Coming up later today, big updates about rent, PUA, and EIDL. And thank you for tuning in for Mornings with LA, a big blockbuster of viewership. We'll be doing it again tomorrow morning. As always, stay positive, focused, educated, and stay with LA for more.